What if I told you that most of your life is built on stories that aren't entirely true? Not dramatic, cinematic lies, but subtle, quiet distortions that shape your choices, your fears, your ambitions, and even your identity. The most dangerous lies aren't the ones told to us by others. They're the ones we tell ourselves, polish until they shine, and then call reality. Welcome to the mind-bending journey of the lies we live. From childhood, we inherit narratives like family heirlooms. You're not good at math. Money is hard to earn. People like us don't succeed. These sentences settle into our subconscious like invisible scripts. We don't question them. We build around them. And soon, we begin living inside invisible boundaries drawn by someone else's passing opinion. The tragedy is not that these lies exist. The tragedy is that we never pause to examine them. One of the biggest lies we live is the illusion of certainty. We crave stability, labels, predictability. So we convince ourselves we know who we are. I'm shy. I'm unlucky. I'm just average. But identity is far more fluid than we admit. Neuroscience shows that the brain rewires constantly, adapting and reshaping with new experiences. Yet we cling to outdated self-descriptions as if they're permanent tattoos. The lie whispers, "This is who you've always been." The truth quietly replies, "You can become something else." Another powerful lie is the myth of someday. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll forgive. Someday I'll live. It sounds harmless, even hopeful. But someday is often a beautifully disguised delay tactic. It allows us to feel like we have a plan without requiring action today. We postpone our dreams while pretending we're preparing for them. Meanwhile, time moves without asking permission. The lie comforts us. The clock does not. Then there's the lie of comparison. In a world driven by social media highlight reels, we measure our behind-the-scenes struggles against someone else's curated success. We tell ourselves they are happier, more confident, more fulfilled. We assume their smiles are permanent and their struggles non-existent. The truth is, we are all fighting silent battles. But comparison doesn't care about truth. It thrives on illusion. And the more we compare, the more we shrink. Perhaps the most seductive lie of all is the belief that comfort equals safety. We stay in unfulfilling jobs, stale relationships, and predictable routines because discomfort feels dangerous. Growth demands uncertainty. Change requires risk. So we tell ourselves, at least this is stable. But stability without growth slowly turns into stagnation. Comfort zones are rarely comfortable for long. They just become familiar cages. The lie promises protection. In reality, it often imprisons potential. There's also the lie of control. We act as though we can orchestrate outcomes with perfect precision. If I do everything right, nothing will go wrong. If I plan enough, I won't fail. Life humbles that belief repeatedly. Illness, economic shifts, unexpected losses. These remind us that control is partial at best. Yet instead of accepting uncertainty, we double down on control, believing it will shield us from chaos. The truth is, resilience matters more than control. Flexibility outlasts rigidity. And what about the lie that we must always appear strong? We hide vulnerability because we think it signals weakness. We mask fear with sarcasm, doubt with overconfidence, loneliness with busyness. But the facade drains us. Real strength often lies in honesty, in admitting when we're overwhelmed, when we need help, when we don't have all the answers. The lie says, don't let them see you struggle. The truth says, connection begins where pretense ends. Why do we cling to these lies? Because they're comfortable narratives. They explain our disappointments without demanding change. They justify our inaction. They protect our ego. And sometimes, they shield us from painful truths we're not ready to confront. Lies can function like emotional armor. The problem is, armor is heavy. Wear it long enough, and you forget how to move freely. The mind-bending part of this journey is realizing that many of these lies feel true. They're reinforced by repetition, emotion, and social validation. The brain doesn't always distinguish between objective truth and repeated belief. If you hear something enough times, especially from yourself, it starts to feel real. That's why awareness is so powerful. The moment you question a belief, you loosen its grip. Imagine asking yourself, what if this isn't true? What if I'm not bad at relationships? What if I'm capable of learning new skills? What if failure is feedback, not identity? That single question cracks open possibility. It shifts you from passive acceptance to active inquiry. It transforms the lie from an unquestioned rule into a hypothesis you can test. Living truthfully doesn't mean having perfect clarity. It means being willing to challenge your narratives. It means noticing when fear disguises itself as logic. It means choosing growth over familiarity, authenticity over image, courage over comfort. The journey isn't about eliminating every false belief overnight. It's about becoming conscious of the stories running your life. Because here's the liberating truth. The same mind that created the lie can create a new story. You are not trapped by yesterday's beliefs. You are not defined by old labels. You are not limited to the version of yourself you've been rehearsing. You can rewrite the script. So pause today. Question one belief you've been carrying for years. Test it. Challenge it. Replace it if needed. The lies we live only survive in silence and repetition. Once exposed, they begin to dissolve. And if this message stirred something inside you, don't ignore it. Share this journey. Start conversations. Reflect deeply. Because the moment you confront the lies you live is the moment you begin to truly live.